Okay, today we're doing Module 4, Lesson 24. And the learning goal for today is to be able to solve word problems using what we've learned about fraction and decimal multiplication. As we talked about, in everyday life, do we have math problems that just greet us along the way? No. We have real-life scenarios that involve math, right? We don't just walk around and during recess, all of a sudden there's a math problem that pops up and you have to solve it. No, that's not real life. But in real life, do we use math? Yeah, we use math in real-world, real-life scenarios. And so word problems are a way for us to apply the math problems to real-life scenarios. Let's first talk about the problem of the day. So once again, we wrote this down in our notebooks to review how to convert fractions into decimals. In order to do that, we need to make the denominator a multiple of what number?
100. Power of 10.
A multiple of 10, very good. And in this case, none of these could have been equivalent fractions using the denominator of 10, so we had to use 100. If 100 doesn't work, what could you use?
1,000.
If 1,000 doesn't work, what could you use?
10,000.
If 10,000 doesn't work, what could you use? Okay, do you see how that works? Very good. Remember, our learning goal, look back at our learning goal. Today we're working on solving word problems involving fraction and decimal multiplication. Is this a word problem? Yeah. And do you think it'll probably involve multiplication of fractions or decimals? Yes. Let's take a look at what it says. A vial contains 20 milliliters of medicine. If each dose is 1/8 of the vial, how many milliliters is in each dose? Express your answer as a decimal. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is underline what is the question asking us to find. Lakshan?
If each dose is 1/8 of the vial.
Stop. Is that part of the question? If each dose is 1/8 of the vial? Is that what we're trying to find out? No. What is the question asking?
How many ml in each dose?
How many milliliters is in each dose? Very good. Now let's circle the important information. Oh, by now you should have underlined what the question is asking. If you don't do that, might you miss the point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So make sure you underline it because remember, sometimes we do all this great, fantastic math work and we don't even answer the question. So underline it, okay? What important information do we need to figure that out? Reagan?
The vial contains 20 milliliters. 1/8 of it. 1/8 of the vial is each dose. And
Very good.
express your answer as a decimal.
Good. Decimal. Very good. That's important too. So we need to know that altogether we have 20 milliliters. And 1/8 of a milliliter is one dose. Oh, sorry, 1/8 of the vial, not of a milliliter. It's 1/8 of the vial. Okay? So, what words do you see next? Tape diagram. Even though the directions may not ask you to use a tape diagram, we are always going to draw a tape diagram. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will. Always. Always. Use a tape diagram. Because it helps me understand the problem better. Very good. Okay, so let's draw our tape diagram. If this is my piece of tape, and this is all the medicine I have all together, I can label it as how many milliliters? 20 milliliters. Okay? Now, one dose is 1/8 of this entire vial. So I have to divide that vial into how many equal parts? 8. Okay? And we can label that as one dose. Okay? So we have a couple different options on how we could solve this. We could say, hold on, give me 1 second, that altogether we have how many units? 8 units. So 8 units equals how many milliliters? 20. So 1 unit equals 20 divided by what? 8. Which equals 20 over 8. Is there a mixed number there that I can simplify?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what does that equal? 2 and 4/8, which is 2 and 1/2 of a milliliter. Now, let's go back and see what we underlined. How many milliliters is in each dose? Did we answer that question? 2.5 milliliters? But it says express your answer as a decimal. Can we express this as a decimal?
Yeah.
What does that equal? 2.5 milliliters. Now, that's not the only way we could have solved it, okay? Let's solve it a different way to see if we actually get the right answer. If I know that 1/8 of the vial is 1 dose, could I do 1/8 of the vial? Now, how much is in the vial? Instead of the vial, what could I write? 20 milliliters. I could say 1/8 of 20 milliliters. Is that the same thing as 1/8 times 20? Okay, and if we do that, do we get the same answer? 1/8 times 20 equals 20 over 8, which is the same as the math we did over here. Yes? Do you see how there's 2 different ways to solve this? Good. As Ben pointed out, and this is great, I want everyone to write this down because it's been a while since we've done this kind of division. Once we get to 20 divided by 8, what number is the whole? 20. What number is the divisor? So who lives in the house? The divisor or the whole? Whole. So we can do 20 divided by 8. The divisor's knocking on the door. How many times does 8 go into 2? None. How many does 8 go into 20? 2. So 2 times 4 is 16. How many do we have left over? So do I say 2 remainder 4 or can I keep dividing?
Keep dividing.
How can I keep dividing?
Oh.
Remind me again. We haven't done this in so long. Arun?
Add a decimal point after the case.
Can I add 0/10?
Yeah.
Does adding 0/10 change the value of the whole? No. But now can I bring down 0/10? And now how many tenths do I have? 40 tenths. If I want to split 40 tenths equally into 8 groups, how many tenths are in each group? 5. So my answer is 25?
No, 2.5.
Oh, because it was 5 tenths. Very good. So do you see how you can use division this way as well? There's 3 different ways to do it. But no matter how you do it, you're drawing a tape diagram, as you just promised, to help you understand the problem better. Never mind, I'm not. Okay, maybe you have a piece of tape, and this represents the whole mixture. Altogether, how many liters are there in the mixture? 0.7 liters. Now that mixture is divided into 4 equal units, and 3/4 of it is vinegar, and 1/4, as we know, is oil, right? And we're trying to figure out how much vinegar there is, okay? So we could say 3/4 of the mixture of the entire thing, which is 0.7, is vinegar, yes? So we could say that's 3/4 times 0.7. Are we ready to multiply?
No.
We need to have 2 fractions, don't we? Do we have 2 fractions right now?
No.
Arhan, how can we change 3/4 times 0.7 into 2 fractions? Times? There we go. 3/4 times 7/10. Now are we ready to multiply? Very good. Hold on. So now that we have our answer in fraction form, we need to write our answer in decimal form. How do we write our answers as a decimal? How can we write our answer as a decimal? We need the denominator to be a multiple of 10. So can we write 40 as a multiple of 10? No. Can 40 turn into a multiple of 100? No. Can it turn into a multiple of 1,000? Huh. So 21/40 is going to be the same as something over 1,000. That means we have to think in our heads, 40 times what will equal 1,000? 40 times what equals 1,000? Now that I know I can multiply 40 times 25 to get to 1,000, what do I have to do to 21? Multiply by 25. Go ahead and do that math. Once we do that multiplication, we can see that 21 times 25 is, Megan?
405.
Okay, 21 times 25 is, everyone?
525.
Very good. So if I have 525 thousandths, how can I write that as a fraction? 0.525. And the answer is in liters. Okay, so this is how you can convert it from a fraction to a decimal. So the first thing we need to do all the time is underline what the question's asking. We're trying to figure out how many girls there are. Go ahead and underline that. The important information we need to know is that there's 3/4 as many boys as girls. And there's 35 students altogether. So in this class of 35 students, if there's 3/4 as many boys as girls, are there more boys or girls? There's only 3/4 as many boys as there are girls. So is there more boys or more girls?
Girls.
How many times less are there boys? 3/4. Okay? So let's draw a tape diagram. If we know that each of these is 1/4, and that's how many boys there are, right? There's 3/4. Do you agree? Okay, so let's write a B here for boys. Then for girls, there must be 4/4. Huh? Do you see that? So all together, how many units are there?
7.
All together, there's 7 units here. And those 7 units, how many kids are there all together in this class? 35 students. So that 7 units was divided, the 7 units is how many students altogether? 35. So, how much is 1 unit?
35 divided by 7.
35 divided by 7, which is 5. So then the question's asking, how many are girls? So how many girls are there? How many units are there? Is there only 5 girls, or how many units are there for girls? Good, there's 4 units. So therefore 4 units is how many girls there are, which is 5 times 4, which is 20 girls. Okay, so you need to be able to draw a tape diagram that looks like this too.